NewGenGamers.com.
They wanted it to record things. They wanted it to do everything, but it failed in every way.
And that
okay, let's.
He wanted like a pop-up video style thing where like you'd get random information bits as you're watching TV shows with that TV tuner idea he has.
Now this game is a very slow-paced game. You hunt around and you locate things, so we're obviously not going to show you much here.
Yeah, we're just kind of...
But this game was also made to support the mouse, which many games were that were like this. So that's an interesting feature that they brought. And but again, it was done just as well on the PC, so there really wasn't a reason to own this version unless you had a 3DO.
Yeah, it wasn't a system seller in any way. So let's take a look at something a little more upbeat. This thing's putting me to sleep.
Let's check out this video. This is kind of cool. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Whoa.
The Ring video.
That's a recurring theme here.
It is.
Okay, so you've got to do more to unlock that. So let's turn the fuzz back off. Now this is a game that was actually published by Panasonic. They were involved in the hardware and did some titles. And it's a strategy RPG.
Kind of like the Mysteria game we played in our Saturn version, only a little bit more zoomed in.
More zoomed in and a little more archaic.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at a battle here.
Give you a little idea of what the gameplay is like. You are the bucket-headed guy who looks like he has a spaceman visor.
Once you get close to some enemies, your party will spread out.
And you'll be in danger.
And you have your basic classes. Ninja with the throwing star.
And a kicking soundtrack.
Oh,
Listen to that.
Close enough.
He's not
Yes.
near range.
So we gotta
That is some rocking guitar. there.
finish moving. Yeah, I noticed the music just does not match up with this
No,
game.
not
I think,
No.
and it might have been because for the developers, 3DO provided sample music and video and image tracks that came along with the development kit. And so, considering this game was made by a not so well known Japanese company, published by Panasonic, maybe they cut a few corners and just used, you know, whatever sound they had available on the discs.
Well, I guess it could be worse, you know.
And we're seeing something now, as we talked about in the other games, is the faking of 3D. You'll notice the level has the fog effect that became famous during the 64 era, where you put a little layer of fog in the end and bring the objects in as you have to process them.
So your world's constantly in the Bay Area.
Absolutely.
And as you can see, it's a basic strategy RPG.
It's very basic.
I like the rotating, how the sprite doesn't rotate, but the level does.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how the level moves around.
And I think it's one of the, it's not an aesthetic choice, but nowadays a game like this can be made with an aesthetic choice such as this.
And you can rotate the camera.
And you decide where
Now
do you want to go.
Yeah, on the map here you see the different enemies. Those are treasure boxes. If you get closer to the enemies, they'll appear on the screen.
Yeah, it doesn't map them until you find them. It's adding more validity to the fog effect.
So
you can't really... Here we're running amongst the trees.
Danger! Danger!
And Will Robinson has found some more danger.
yeah, I don't know who's yelling that, but
Now, are you controlling the rotating ring?
Not when the enemies are going.
not unless I'm moving the character, but I can spin it while I'm choosing what I'm doing. Now you see the characters are 3D characters made of polygons, but they don't really have any texture. They're pretty basic.
They're kind of cartoony.
Yeah, so it doesn't really give you a feel that of any sort of, I don't know, danger.
Yeah,
They don't look too scary.
Yeah, fighting a cartoon wolf doesn't really scare me that much.
And again, why this system failed, it tried these advanced graphics, but they just weren't convincing enough.
Well, they really hadn't gotten to the point where they could texture everything at that point. At least not the real models.
Yeah.
And they were still experimenting with 3D gaming.
Yeah.
So no one knew what it was going to be. You know, the Mario 64 really set what the standard is for 3D gaming in many ways.
And this thing was way before Mario 64, and in fact, Mario 64
probably preceded the console.
Yeah, it was, you know, when stuff like that came out, this thing was completely forgotten about. So,
this was a look at Guardian War.
Yeah, if you want to check out a strategy RPG for the system, this is one of the few.
So, check out Guardian War for the 3DO if you choose to play a 3DO.
We dare you.
Time to experience the 3DO from Electronic Arts. Now,
and here we have another Electronic Arts game.
And we looked at John Madden Football, which was pushed very heavily by EA onto the 3DO. Here was a game that was made exclusively for the 3DO.
Yes.
And quite the introduction here. And loading.
Still thinking.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen,
check out the most impressive racing game ever.
Until Ridge Racer.
At the time, though, this
blew it away.
This was amazing. Now we get this really cool actual video intro here.
I'm just waiting for it to cut into like the danger zone.
I want to see one of them flying or exploding. All right. So we are now heading into the Need for Speed from Road and Track. Now, this original Need for Speed was affiliated with the car enthusiast publication Road and Track, and was really pushed to have high production values that hadn't been seen in racing games up to this point. Most racing games were born in the arcades and were therefore made for just a quick, fun experience, which this certainly is. But we get the extra production values with the 3DO here. Nice.
Would you say this is like a predecessor to Gran Turismo?
It was a step in that direction, more towards the car enthusiast rather than the twitchy arcade game player, I think.
That's definitely true.
And definitely a distinction. And you know, you see where these racing games are now. They're whole cities that you can race everywhere and upgrade your cars and do amazing things. And you could do that on this. Not so much the city thing, but the car upgrades and advancement. More than just a traditional straight racing game. This added a lot. It really brought a lot of presence to the sort of stale racing genre.
Very realistic type cars too.
And you get chased by the police.
Well, the basic idea of one-on-one was to get these two guys, Julie Serving and Larry Bird, who are probably the two best-known basketball players and probably the two best forwards that have ever played the game, and to capture their personalities in the game. And so we decided to hire them to help us design the game, and we had photo sessions where we took pictures of them in action. In fact, we had a camera mounted at mid-court just exactly from this angle while we photographed them. And then we worked with them on prototypes of the product where we'd sit down and talk to them about the moves that they would use and some of the strategies and the shooting percentages that they would have in different places on the court. And that was a fascinating learning experience.
DJ Gamers.com